This performance analysis focuses on streamline and form drag in relation to swimming freestyle and the implications that affect the overall performance and efficiency. First of all, streamline is the body position or design with a form that presents very little resistance to a flow of water, increasing speed and ease of a movement. The streamlined position can be broken down into 4 sections. The first is hands stacked on top of one another, extended above the head, with elbows locked and engaged biceps resting at the ears. The second is the head shouldn't be extended past the arms and eyes should look directly down at the bottom of the pool. The third is the hips should be high with an engaged core and gluteus maximus. And finally, the legs squeezed together with plantar flex toes. A swimmer possessing this tight, streamlined position will experience less water resistance because of a smaller frontal plane area, therefore punching a smaller hole through the water, which reduces form drag. Form drag is the resistance caused by body shape, position, and frontal surfaces. A few elements which create this can be seen below, the first being a large frontal surface area, high head positioning, poor body positioning with low hips and legs, arm entry is wide and hands slap the water as they enter, and finally excessive drag from kicking too low in the water. Let's take a look at this individual swimming freestyle. Just from viewing this, it is clear that the streamlined position is not being held. Before we dive in, let's have a look at an exemplar performance. The key difference between both of these videos is that the subject performance does not hold a streamlined position compared to the exemplar performance. From looking at the 2 images below, there's one key aspect that clearly impacts the streamlined body position, which is head position. Head position is so crucial because it sets the tone for the rest of the body to follow. Therefore, having an unaligned body creates drag, making the entire movement not only less efficient but more challenging. As shown, the subject individual's head is held too high with eyes pretty much facing in a forward direction, whereas the exemplar individual has his head tucked into his arms with eyes looking directly down and only slightly forward. The core issue of the swimmer is the head position, although it's the effect that this has which impacts the performance. As soon as the swimmer lifts the head and begins kicking, the legs naturally follow the alignment of the body and drop from the sunken hips, and as soon as the body breaks horizontal and streamlined, form drag increases. This is because once the body is no longer in the aligned position, in fact vertical, a higher percentage of the swimmer's body is perpendicular to the direction of motion, which is the area that first encounters resistance from the water. This area is also a higher pressure. Once the swimmer propels past this water, it then becomes low pressure around the back of the head and the rest of the body, creating a low pressure drag. This is why the hips drop. To correct the issue of not maintaining a streamlined position, we are starting with a basic wall push streamline glide. For the activity to be completed, the swimmer must push off the wall in a tight streamline and glide as far as possible. The key aim is for the swimmer to minimize drag and maximize efficiency in the water by gliding with minimal resistance, allowing them to propel themselves forward quickly and easily. By mastering this, the swimmer should have a better understanding and feel of the streamline technique to be then transferred across into completing an inner stroke. Let's take a look at our inner demonstration. If the individual is finding it challenging completing a wall push-off glide, a kickboard streamline drill could be a great tool to aid them. The activity requires the individual to hold a kickboard overhead from the base, with fingers placed on top and thumbs tucked underneath. The arms are then extended while the swimmer's head is tucked in, looking directly at the base of the pool. The aim of the kickboard streamline drill is to focus on reinforcing correct body alignment and posture in the water with the aid of a kickboard helping to support the position. It also focuses on perfecting the swimmer's propulsion as the upper body is supported via the kickboard, therefore the individual can focus on a narrow, powerful kicking technique. By working on the propulsion phase of the streamline, it should allow for the swimmer to maintain a stronger streamline position when the board is then taken away. Let's take a look at the drill in motion. If the swimmer is still finding it challenging to maintain a streamlined position with the kickboard, it will be beneficial to take the swimmer from the pool and work on perfecting the position on land by practicing a war streamlined hold. The aim for this activity is for the swimmer to become comfortable and hold a streamlined position static. By taking them out of the water and removing the moving context, the individual is more likely to gain a feel for the position. An added benefit for practicing a war streamline hold is that the coach can help manipulate and communicate aspects of the streamline position that need to be improved. If the swimmer can effectively perform a war pull streamline glide, but could use some extra activities to help improve the streamline position in motion, incorporating a pull buoy into practice would be beneficial. The aim is to keep the hips held high in the water while propelling forward in the streamline position. By adding a pull buoy into swimming practices, there are a couple of elements it helps to improve. Firstly, it keeps the body horizontal and allows the swimmer to feel head to toe alignment. It eliminates form drag by keeping the legs afloat and mimicking a streamlined position while decreasing frontal surface area. It also helps activate the swimmer's core, which allows them to have greater control over their body and balance. Here's an example of a kick being performed with a pull buoy in a streamlined position. The final progression in the Streamline series is a 90 degrees kickboard streamline and should only be practiced when an individual is competent in the streamline position. The activity is performed by the individual flipping a kickboard to 90 degrees, meaning they hold the board horizontal at the original near edge and far edge. Have a look at the picture on the screen to clarify. Once the individual holds the board like this, they are to kick in a streamlined position. The aim of this drill is to increase surface area by creating a wider entrance to the water, which increases drag to therefore create more resistance. With normally the goal being to reduce drag by performing a streamlined position, this drill is used to strengthen muscles and condition the body once the streamlined position is able to be maintained, which can improve technique further. It is also a perfect example of Newton's third law in motion, which is for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, meaning the more force applied forward equals an equal force applied back, which is the increase in drag. Let's take a look at the 90-degree kickboard demonstration now. The 5 of these learning activities, 1 initial, 2 regressions and 2 progressions, align with the core issue of head position, which then impacts the streamline position, impacting the overall performance. Each activity underlines improving streamline by either working on the feel of the technique and practicing positioning, adding flotation support, either a kickboard or a pull buoy, and improving technique and strength through added resistance training. From practicing and performing these activities, it has made a significant difference to the subject's performance. Let's take a look. To support this, the below photos show the body alignment and head position before completing the learning activities and after. As you can see, the original performance individual possesses heads up, eyes looking forward, a vertical body position and hips sunk. To then the performance after the learning activities, the individual now has their head down, eyes down and slightly forward, a horizontal body and hips are afloat. This shows that the activities have improved the individual's performance.